Heidi ho, everyone, and welcome aboard. It is Tuesday, the 8th of September, believe it or not, with 3 months to go in the year. Oh dear, how does that ever happen? I don't know. Look, it's great to have you on board, of course. We are going to be previewing what's coming up in the US session very, very shortly. And of course, that on a Tuesday includes the presence of our resident crypto specialist, Shukri, and he'll be joining me very, very shortly. I'm going to have a chat to him actually before we get into to his portion of the show today. And the reason I want to do that is I really want to get a little bit deeper into why cryptos, frankly, and how long he's been plying his trade and what we expect to. Is that you in, Shukri?
It's me, mate. How you doing?
Oh, it's Ash. How you doing,
yeah,
buddy?
I thought I'd come and help you out. You know, you sounded a bit lonely.
I am lonely. The market doesn't want to talk to me. Nobody wants to talk to me today.
Yeah, the market is in a bit of a tiz, mate. In a bit of a tiz.
It's a little bit lively at present, and I'm just about to actually share screen on what I'm about to do, and that's cancel an order if I haven't already been taken into that. I just want to check that before we go too far because I don't like what the market's doing. Yeah, that's it there. I was long euro dollar here, just above this bar. But yeah, the market's a little bit jittery, and I don't think the scenario is that great. Yeah, maybe it settled down. Has anything happened in the last half hour?
Well, yeah, not anything significant. Really, there were some data points out that shifted things around a bit. Some pretty let me see what we got. I mean, actually, the NFIB Small Business Index from the States was actually pretty good. A revised GDP quarter on quarter better than expected, still negative 11.8% on the for the eurozone, but better than expected. Unemployment kind of in line with expectation as well from the eurozone at minus 2.9%. Aside from that, not really. German trade balance up 18 billion, but that was quite an interesting number because the exports have actually come down, but the imports have also come down more. So maybe a little bit to do with some of that, but I wonder whether it's just a bit of a push down, and because I'm looking for long opportunities at the minute. And I'll show you it later on because I think that there is maybe a bit of a dead cat bounce at minimum that we may well be about to see here.
All right, mate. Whilst we've been talking, I completely didn't cancel that order, and it has been taken in now. I'm in the lap of the gods, as it were. But I don't like what price is doing, quite frankly, at the moment.
I don't think that's the worst trade, mate. I've got to say, I think that the dollar index, looking at the dollar index chart, it is on resistance, and I'd be surprised, a little bit like the Nasdaq specifically. I'd be surprised if the market actually does break down today or break up in the dollar's case. I'd be surprised if it actually does do that. I mean, the pound. A little bit of a different story because those Brexit negotiations are right on top of us. But I think certainly with the as far as the EU is about to go and the euro specifically, we got meetings on Thursday, and would people really make a play, like a big play, to get it through a significant support level before that meeting? I would doubt it personally.
Yeah, look, it's a case of sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, I suppose, and depends on which angle you're coming at it from.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. The good part is, I suppose, the pound breakout's going okay and has done for the last 2 days. We're still in yesterday's, as a matter of fact. So
brilliant. Yeah,
there is some good news on the horizon.
Yeah,
that's about as much as I can tell you at the moment.
Yeah, I mean the pound's in all sorts of trouble. The pound's in all sorts of trouble, and interestingly, it's actually given the FTSE 100 the enviable title of being the outperformer of the indices right across the board, because as the pound has weakened so significantly, the FTSE has just managed to at least grab its share of where it was, whereas some of these other markets are just in all sorts of trouble. As I say, the Nasdaq's in pretty big trouble. The VIX is picking up pretty significantly. The S&P's in trouble. I've seen the IBEX in trouble. The DAX is in trouble. But the FTSE's just managed to hold on to some kind of stability because of that pound weakness. But now the pound is on a fairly significant level of support. Maybe it manages to hold because those meetings aren't done yet. But certainly the poker that has been going on between the UK and the EU has taken a fairly nasty twist and turn, and it's not been good news for the pound, and because of that, I'm not really too surprised of how well the trade is going to the downside with the pound. I presume you must be a seller if you're making money out of it.
Well, it's only because it's the breakout, it's not my bias. Although that said, it was definitely due a correction on a few of the things that we've been trading, pound Kiwi in particular. I was looking for that to, there's pound Aussie, pound Kiwi. We've been in this trade for quite some time, where we entered the market down here, and our target is kind of up here somewhere. They never go straight up, so I was expecting a decent retracement. This is certainly that. There's no question. And the red line that I've got on my chart is potentially where I want to pick up some longs. And maybe you can help me out here. I'm not too sure how far this can go and how serious the Brexit scenario is in relation to the pound weakness, but it's
serious, mate. It's very serious. Yeah. It really is. It is what's driving the pound lower. I think it's rare that we can make such sweeping statements as this is causing this, because there's usually many things behind the scenes. But it would seem odd to me that we get an announcement over the last 2 days of Boris Johnson really rolling up his sleeves and ready to duke it out, and the pound he reacts in the way that that it has, because they're talking about it's not just Brexit potentially being off the table. We really are getting to the end of the process. So this has got to be done by October the 5th, and he's talking about ripping up the bill.
Fast. I thought it was 31, but that was last year, wasn't it?
No, you're right. December 31st is the absolute date when we're out. But if they don't get a trade deal in place by October the 5th, then there's no trade deal. So we can forget the December timeline completely, almost. So it really is about October the 5th, and I'm pretty sure they're meeting this week. So there's a lot of tension because they need to get something starting to get the whole process move forward. And Boris Johnson's talking about ripping up the previous agreement. So the issue is, it's not so much that they're playing hardball, but they're playing hardball in such a way that you can't see how the other side can do anything but return the favour. And if they do that, then the pound will weaken significantly.
Haven't we been here before?
We have, mate. But
this all rings a lot of bells for me.
Yeah, we have.
But
I think
it's the fact that we're so close now, I suppose.
Exactly. Now we really are down to the meat on the bone. This really is what this is the final countdown. We should be playing it. This is the final countdown of the negotiation. So where we've been waiting really for this, now we're here, and this really will be all the price action we've seen going up and down. Hey SF, by the way, and Lewis, all the price action we've seen going up and down over the last 4 years has been speculation in many respects. But right now, okay, yes, we're still in that speculative period on the short term. We are right now. We really are getting down to absolutely what's going to happen to this situation. Is it also why the FTSE?
Is there a position we should be taking?
Well, yeah. I mean, do you know what Lewis is saying? Is that why the FTSE is also been affected in the move down today? Well, I think you have to be you have to be quite cute about the FTSE's position, because the FTSE, yes, is down, but relatively speaking, it's outperforming. It's outperforming its European and US peers at this particular stage. Now, if the pound can find some stability down here, then we'll start to see the FTSE 100 come down. So if we were going to take a play on this, then my personal thought would be that you could say go long the pound, go short the FTSE. Sorry, go long the pound, go long the FTSE. Because it will potentially hedge out your risk a little bit, but only if you believe in the long pound, because if the pound goes long, the FTSE is likely to start to dive down, just like all the other indices that we've had. But if the pound weakens, so if you're long the pound, if the pound weakens, then the FTSE will have a pop. And if the pound weakens significantly, the FTSE will have a pop, and it will outperform all the other indices right across the globe, I would suspect. So actually, the FTSE hasn't been affected quite as much as it might seem on the face of it. If you just look at a FTSE chart, yeah, get it. But if you go to a trading view or something where you can bring up a measuring tool, have a look how low the FTSE is today, and have a crack and check out S&P futures versus Nasdaq futures, Dow futures, the DAX and the IBEX, and you'll see.
I can't do that. Can you do that?
I can do that. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, please.
Okay, great. All right, let's do that. So, my screen one. So I was just doing a few things here.
I was just saying earlier before you popped in, I'm going to basically interview Shukri before he launches into his presentation this evening, because I want to know what makes him tick, why he got into it, how long he's been into it.
Oh yeah,
why? Yeah. All those sorts of questions that we really haven't really got into.
No, you're absolutely right, mate. That'd be great. Don't put him off his stride of telling us what how he's going to buy and sell the thing. I'm fascinated by that.
No, I won't.
Okay, so we got, but yeah, you're right. It'd be good to know who is this man from another planet.
Yes, who is this Mars man?
Mars man from another planet. So here we go. Right,
so you're on notice, Shukri.
Yeah. Right, this is the FTSE 100. Now, I think you could argue right now that the FTSE 100 is an uptrend, and I think that you've got, on a 4-hour chart anyway, you've got an inverted head and shoulders. But more significantly, let's have a look at today's price action. So we are, let's go to the hourly. We opened up here. There's our opening. Sorry, there's our opening bar there. And the FTSE is currently down 1.1%, let's call it. Now let's flip to the Nasdaq. Where are you? This will do. There's the opening on the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's almost down 3%. So this is the thing about and I think it probably will get a pop to the upside here. I wouldn't mind having a little speculative trade on the Nasdaq potentially that we could get a pop to the upside, but it will be a little bit dangerous. But we're on significant levels down here, so that's just one of them. But we could go right the way around. Let's just have a quick check of the DAX as well. DAX opens up, if we sort of say it's about the same sort of time, it's here. DAX is down nearly 1.5%. So FTSE down 1.1%, the DAX is down 1.5%, Nasdaq down 3%. So, this is the thing about all these things. The FTSE is underperforming. The FTSE is outperforming the rest of the global equities, but global equities are down, and there's no secret of why they're down. We've had a crazy September. And we now head into the US election, so the market will find that volatility. And look at the VIX. This is the VIX from really today. It's this bar here. So the VIX is up currently around about 15% from the open, from the UK Open today. So the VIX is back up again. Now, will the VIX get through here? This is where I start to doubt things. You know, that the VIX is at this particular level. We've seen where the Nasdaq is. I don't think you maybe I maybe didn't make the chart big enough to appreciate where the Nasdaq is, but look where the Nasdaq is, which is why I think the long is quite an interesting play here with the Nasdaq. Look at the Nasdaq. That's the trend line from the 4th of May.
Mm-hmm.
So we're you know, and we've already had a bounce off that particular level, and we can even maybe tighten that line up a little bit more there. So we've already had a bounce off this particular level once a couple of days ago. Yesterday's bar was, you know, in some respects neither here nor there, and this is one of those things about the anatomy of a bar matters and where it is in the trend. And this particular bar looks like a hammer, but it doesn't do what a hammer does. It doesn't test a low. This one does. So we've had a hammer. We've followed by a small body bar with a lower tail, which also suggests some buys are coming back into play. We've just checked the VIX, and it's probably at a level of resistance. We're looking at the Nasdaq right on what I would call a buy zone. And if we look on the hourly, then we'd probably want to wait until this hour is completed. But it looks like it's attempting to make a little bit of a hammer here and a bit of a reversal bar here. So the Nasdaq to me looks like an interesting play from this particular point. Probably not very far. You know, you could aim for maybe monthly pivots or something like that, which obviously TradingView don't have. But that to me looks like an interesting opportunity to maybe trade it long. Let's bring the DXY in as well, and just really kind of like run through the barometers and look where the DXY is. And then after we've done this, we'll just quickly check the pound. Look at the DXY. The DXY, depending on where you draw this line, it's right on top of a sell zone. Now, can the dollar burst through this particular point today? I'd be surprised, mate. I have to say, I'd be very surprised if the dollar does take off today. I think the dollar has still got some work to do, and I think that work probably would include making a reversal pattern. You know, it's all it's doing is kind of giving us price action, which is holding here. But I'd quite like to see something like that kind of going on, and then just doing something like that and then picking up and going. So creating
it really does have to break a level before it takes off, surely.
Yeah. You certainly think so. I mean, I'll be still bearish the dollar overall. I'm still bearish the dollar, and I'm still, I suppose, overall quite bullish on something like the Nasdaq. I think that this area that we're in is just a sensible pause. But the Nasdaq from the highest particular point is now down. I will show you. From the highest point, the Nasdaq is down 10%. Down here, look, 10.13%. So from the highest point to the lowest point, the Nasdaq's had a healthy pullback. Now it could come down further. You know, if we bring in weekly charts, then there's an area down here which would be of huge interest if it managed to get there. I don't know if it would. It's got a lot of work to do to get down there. But you know, for the Nasdaq to drop from where we are now to down there, it's going to come down another 10%, if you like, 13%. So it could happen, you know, without too many problems, particularly what we're just about to head into with the US. But does it happen today? I think is the big question, and I think we've still got another play to the upside before we need to get too concerned that the markets are definitely going to break down. Looking at the pound, quite similar in some respects as all these other charts we're looking at. It's really at a very, very interesting point of support. And again, you know, would the pound just fly to the downside? Well, with Brexit, it absolutely could, but we'd much prefer to see something like that going on, and kind of get, you know, something that looks like a much more even left shoulder, right shoulder situation. So there's a few inverted head and shoulders patterns kind of going on right now. The question is, do they happen? If they happen, do they all happen? If they don't all happen, which one's the best one to play for? But from my particular perspective, I think some dollar weakness is probably intraday still likely. I think the pound holding is still likely. I think the FTSE starting to underperform now is likely. And I think the Nasdaq starting to outperform is likely from these particular price points. So that is what I am looking at, mate. That's they are the things that I guess on my watch list for the day.
All right, mate. Happy days. I've still got a few on mine. Nothing's changed really since the last 3 webinars that I've been in already today, so I really won't go on with too much. But I do want to bring Shukri in, and I don't want to disturb his presentation later on, so I'll just bring him in now. G'day, buddy.
Good day. How are you?
Mate, having an absolute ball.
Great, great, great. So my first show is tomorrow night.
Aha. So straight into the promos then.
And the topic will be the first topic that we'll learn about is crypto foodies, sushi, kimchi, and hot dog.
Holy shit.
Which is like Japanese, Korean, and American food. We're going to spare Ash because it's British show. We're not going to touch anything on fish and chips, okay? Fish and chips, okay.
Are they any good in zero gravity?
They're good. They're good so far. So we're not going to bother with Aussie food.
We can have them on the moon, right?
Yes, we're not going to bother with Aussie food or Kiwi food or British food. for now.
All right. So we're going, continent. Well, we're going different tucker. Maybe not continental, subcontinental, or moon food.
Yes,
let's call it moon food.
Moon food.
Buddy, look, I want to slow you down for just a tick.
Sure.
And before we get into to your session tonight, just a little preview of what's coming up, mate. You've been trading, and well, trading's not probably the right word, is it? You've been investing, and you've been playing the game with cryptos for how long?
Right. Since 2017.
Why?
Which sounds like eons. Okay, it's like forever. This is like the second life. Okay, why? Good. You see, last time in 2015, at least, I was a corporate guy. I was like a working guy, very good working guy, I would say. I was a CEO.
You sound like Donald Trump. Very, very good working guy.
Yes, and
I was up there with the best, right?
I used to watch The Apprentice, and I used to wear pink ties.
Happy days.
Yeah. So what I did was, I was working for a billionaire, and I happened to know one of his advisors. And the thing about rich people is the most simplest thing is you want to be rich, go find out what they're doing and just do it. That's the most simplest thing that I find. So when I decided to strike off on my own, bad idea, but I did. I met with his advisor again, and he was the one that suggested for me to go into Bitcoin. So I said, but that's a scam. But he said, no, it's not. You don't understand. So I did a research, and then he asked me to invest in this ICO called, and it's initial coin offering. It's like an initial public offering. It was called Block 1. It's now called EOS. And of course, me being so stupid, instead of spelling it as BLOC1 or something, I tried to Google BLOCK1 and never found it. And said, okay, this must be a scam. Only to find out 3 weeks later that it had gone up like 5 times. So I'm like, hey, there's got to be something there. And that's when I really started. I was really curious about it then. So then what I did was at that time, it was the ICO boom. I basically, because as you guys know, right, in order to, you can be successful and you can be very successful. And I think successful is having like the beta gains. If you want, if everybody makes 10%, you can make 10, 11%. That's okay, but you want to make more. So to have alpha gains, I actually came out with my own methodology on how to trade cryptos, which is,
based on what?
Based on multiplying the Ethereum or multiplying the Bitcoin and that. And it's now very popular. It's called accumulating your sats. You don't look at the US dollar pair. I know, but to start out so that you guys don't freak out, we will look at it like Forex as the US dollar pair. But the way I think, and if you want to really make a lot of money, you have to think on another way. You have to think in terms of the base currency of cryptos, which is Bitcoin. But more so, you have to think in terms of Ethereum. Nowadays, it's also DOT. And unfortunately, it's the person that you sacked yesterday, Jeff Cardano, ADA.
I've sacked them all, mate.
Yeah, you sacked them. And the funny thing was, I was going to some websites. Man, they hate him. They really hate him now. He's done nothing. Because
he's in the bad books. He's really in the
bad books because he did not allow us to multiply our sats.
Oh, you poor things.
Yes, because like this, Geoff, you know, I mean, pretend like, okay, this is a good thing. Okay? We're talking about the pound, right? Now, if you want to go for an IPO in Britain, you'd have to buy the pound, right?
Yep.
Correct? Yeah. So as you buy the pound goes up, but you're really not interested in the number of pips the pound goes up. You're interested in putting it in something called, well, I don't know what a new company is in UK. So UK has EasyJets. Let's call it Superjet. So Superjet is coming out. Somehow it's designed for COVID-19. It can go up 2-3 times. So when you buy the pound, you really don't care if it goes up 100 or 200 pips because you know that pound that you have, you're going to put in Superjet, which is going to go 2 to 3 times.
How do you know that, and why would you know that?
A lot of research.
That decision, right?
A lot of research. That's why you have to do a lot of research. Now, to put this in the crypto world, we have Ethereum like a country. So within the country of Ethereum, there's going to be a lot of IPOs. Similarly, we have a country like Cardano or ADA, and within Cardano, there's going to be a lot of IPOs, although there's none now, which is why we sacked Charles. Guys, listen to this name, okay? Charles Hoskinson. He's the most hated guy nowadays. And we also have the most promising country now, which is called Polkadot country. And that's why people are very excited on this, you know, because you can multiply your money many, many times over rather than getting the pips or, you know, the usual pips and all of that.
Okay, so is this like, let me relate it to something.
Yeah.
Is this like, say an IPO,
yeah,
and a penny stock gets released, for instance?
Yes.
These are penny stocks, right?
Yes, these are penny stocks. Now, now the exciting, good question. The exciting thing about cryptos is they're not even pennies. They're not even penny stocks. Okay, you have to understand. Just imagine you like a venture capitalist. You're not going to get in the first round, of course. You're going to get in the second round. You used to get in the first round in 2017. That's why you can make, you know, insane amounts of money. Now you really can't get in the first round. They reserve it for institutional guys and also the people who are active in the community, which you can be. But now you get in the second round. Now, in a normal IPO process, you know, Geoff, if you go to the venture capital thing, there's like what? There's like seed round, and then no, there's angel round, there's seed round, there's pre-series A, series A, B, C, D, and then it only at the end it goes to us. So it's gone many, many times. In cryptos, you are going to round 2. You can get in round 2. So just imagine the what do you call it? The gains that you can make, and I'll show you an example.
So there's still some meat on the bone, rather than
there is. For example, those guys who were in my show last 2 Fridays, I was mentioning this ecosystem called Ontology, which is part of Neo, and I said the lesson that we learned in 2017. Whatever IPO, but now they call it IEOs, get in the first few. You will make money. And Ontology came out with an IEO called OIN, O-I-N. It was offered at 8 cents. It went up until $1. That's a 12-time gain in 1 day, a few hours.
Yep.
And that's what you get. And suddenly, you know, you don't care, like if you buy a crypto, then you don't care whether it goes up like 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%. You don't care because that gain is multiplied many times over.
All right, it's a new way to think, guys,
yes.
And we are out of time in this preview show. We will be talking, of course, exclusively about how we go about all these things with Shukri in the US session, which is coming up in 1 moment from now. But for now, those of you who are on YouTube, we have to bid you adieu. Those of you who are subscribers to our US session, hang in there. We'll be back with Shukri, and he's going to reveal a whole lot of stuff to us in a very, very short period of time. So YouTubers, thanks for being here, but we will part company with you right now.
Hold on, Geoff.
Yep.
Have you come out? Wan's asking, how do we get into the show? Do we know that?
Yeah, look, it's not possible directly.
Ask James.
Sadly, you have to go through contactedactionstowealth.com. So contact@actionstowealth.com. You will be able to, if you do that, get access to the recording of this session and all others. So that's the way you can get in. And from then on, of course, you'll be able to be a subscriber, and you'll be in the show each and every Tuesday and each and every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, as well in the US session. Okay, hope that helps. Contact@Actions to Wealth, and that's how you go about it. We will be hoping to provide you with a direct link so that you can join up straight away and get access to us. But at this point in time, that technically is not a thing.
All right, here, contact@Actions to Wealth, and it's not an expensive subscription either, guys. Just so you don't need to be scared of that. It's a relatively inexpensive subscription as well. There you go.
.com.
.com, sorry. Contact@actionstowealth.com.
Okay, we got it, guys. Got to go. And as I say, subscribers will be back